Championship. This bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Council, the president, Jose Suleiman, the supervisor at ringside, Eduardo Lamazon, along with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, the chairman, Dr. Elias Gana. Now presenting the judges as appointed at ringside, Dave Moretti, Terry Smith, and Tommy Tomihara. Now presenting the referee in charge of this bout, working in this his 69th world title bout, Mills Lane. With the long-awaited showdown for the WBC Middleweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first the challenger on my right, fighting out of the blue corner. He is wearing gold trunks, fighting out of Freeport, Illinois, as he represents the world-famous Kronk Gym in Detroit. His weight, an even 160 pounds. His record, 27 wins, only 2 losses, with 25 big wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing the former WBO middleweight champion, tonight the challenger, known as the G-Man, Gerald McClellan. Opponent across the ring. On my left, fighting out of the red corner, is one of the great knockout artists in boxing today. He enters the ring wearing white trunks with red and blue trim, hailing from St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. He weighed in at a ready 159 pounds. His outstanding record includes 46 wins, only 1 loss, and a tremendous 43 wins coming by way of knockout. He is the former WBA junior middleweight champion, the current defending WBC middleweight champion of the world, Julian "The Hawk" Jackson. Once again, here's your referee in charge, Mills Lane.
All right, gentlemen, this is for the championship of the world. We've gone through all the instructions one time. Expect a tough, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Any questions from the challenger? Any questions from the champion? Let's get it on.
Of referee Mills Lane, we are underway. Round 1 scheduled for 12 for the WBC Middleweight Championship. Julian Jackson in the white trunks with the red and blue trim, really opening himself up to criticism against Thomas Tate 2 fights ago, winning by tough decision. He showed some weaknesses. As a result, other fighters suddenly quite eager, getting in line to take a crack at the hook. Certainly not the case in the past.
Well, I'll tell you, he is a tremendous puncher, which has always scared everybody. I mean, no one wants to fight anyone that's that dangerous, but 2 fighters, Thomas Tate, in his last fight against Eddie Hall, a relative unknown, had him in trouble more than once.
Well, McClellan figures to give him trouble early. I mean, but Julian Jackson starts in a hurry. As you can see, there's nice, good.
There it is, a big right hand. McClellan was waiting with the jab and timing him on the way in. Something we spoke about earlier, using that jab, and bam, the right hand over the top.
McClellan can bang, as we said. You got to look for this guy early. Here he is early.
And Jackson is rocked in the opening minute of the fight. Really a catch-22 situation for Jackson. If he wins, people will say McClellan inexperienced, overrated. If Jackson doesn't look good and in fact loses, people might say he's lost it. He's not the same Jackson.
In the last exchange, McClellan ran into a good left hook. He himself, for just a minute there, was stumbled and staggered.
That's the best thing that Jackson does, is come back from being hurt. He's hurt, but he comes back, and when he comes back, he's got power. That's very strange, and it's caught McClellan off guard. He didn't expect that kind of bout.
Going into tonight's triple header, odds makers gave McClellan the best chance to pull off an upset. Jackson only a 2-to-1 favorite. Pretty close odds in boxing.
Boy, McClellan's taking chances with leading with the right hand and just about taking every precaution and forgetting about it. Just going right for the bomb.
You mentioned earlier he didn't want to be reckless, and he came out very calm, but here he is. He is attacking Julian Jackson.
And Jackson spinning around.
Jackson's getting nailed, but remember, he comes back.
Gerald McClellan, called by his trainer and manager, Emanuel Stewart, the best all-around fighter he's ever had. In fact, one of the reasons heavyweight Michael Moore left Stewart was because he wanted to devote more time to his prized pupil in the gold trunks.
That lead right hand is going to get him in trouble. Bobby, you can't throw that right hand with that strength and nothing to protect yourself after you've thrown it. He's done it several times now.
And Jackson has a tremendous left hook counter, as we well know. But I'll tell you right now, McClellan's, he's forcing the pace. He's making Jackson do some backing up and some covering up, something he's not accustomed to doing.
Oh, he is having a terrific first round as McClellan, but Jackson's still here. He's weathered it, but McClellan has really put some fear into Jackson.
Final seconds, round one. Terrific round for the challenger, McClellan.
Now start looking for the counter. Now start looking for that counter. Both of us have said here, the counter to that right hand could just put McClellan on the canvas.
Despite Jackson's impressive record, many are saying he is on the decline in his career, and Gerald McClellan out to prove it. McClellan's best combination, a right hand to the head, left hook to the liver. 17 of his 25 knockouts, according to Emanuel Stewart, in that fashion.
Again, you saw that right hand over the top. And something you have to worry about with punchers. The punches are all big, they're all heavy. If you start missing them, you get tired prematurely. And also, something that has probably plagued Jackson in the past few fights, he's knocked so many people out so easily that he doesn't pay as much attention to defense.
Two good body shots exchanged, one by Jackson, one by McClellan. These guys are not letting any aspect of the punishment game go by. Both of them are punishing the body, both of them going with power punches to the head. This is a whopping middleweight title fight.
And while most people anticipated a shootout, a slugfest, as we are seeing here at the outset, Jackson told us yesterday he thought it would be a more technical fight, that he'll pick his shots, set him up. He says McClellan is not a good boxer, although front fighters are generally good, sound boxers. Jackson told us his right hand, which he injured prior to the February 20th card in Mexico City, is up to par. He's been digging shots. He insists he won't hold back. When I mentioned that McClellan questioned whether the hand was fully healed, Jackson laughed and said, why don't we test it on Gerald's head? But it's been McClellan who has been doing the testing to this point.
Jackson's been a little more effective now using a jab. McClellan's laid off his jab a little bit, and it's gotten to be a little more chest-like right now, but the big bombs are still coming.
Jackson has kicked it into another gear in the second round, and McClellan has been fighting a retreating fight, almost as if he didn't believe his good luck in that first round. First round went to Gerald, got Jackson in trouble, but now all of a sudden it's Jackson in the pursuit and picking him apart slowly, little at a time, good body shots, using his jab effectively. Jackson's fighting very well here.
And now lunging shots by Julian Jackson, but not having any effect on McClellan, who comes back strong, but back comes Jackson with a heavy right.
One thing about Julian Jackson, you can hurt him, but never count him out. Not only can he punch with both hands, but he inside this ring is a vicious, vicious man.
McClellan thinks Jackson is looking ahead to Terry Norris, who is sitting ringside off to our right.
Well, I don't know if either one of these two guys got anything in mind except survival here. And Gerald is looking scared.
Big right hand by Julian Jackson, sending McClellan back. Now Jackson beginning to open up more and gain confidence.
This is what you call intimidation, and it's all happening to McClellan. He's getting intimidated here.
So Jackson's completely turned the tables from the first round, but McClellan also still a dangerous fighter.
After this one, the WBC Super Lightweight Championship, Chavez versus Terrence Ali. This is round 3 in a most exciting fight.
Julian getting his head of steam up, and I'm sure Emanuel Stewart said, son, you got to do some fighting or this guy will come right over you. And McClellan's got to get back on track, throw some of those right hands that were landing. He's got to box more, Bobby. He just can't stand in front of him like that.
He came out with a good stiff jab, and now the jab's more of a feeler. He's using it to feel, looking for the right hand. He's got to use a stiff jab to set up that right hand, and now Jackson winging big shots, gaining confidence as the round goes on.
Jackson's hands are very heavy, and when they land, even though it's off to the side of the head, it hurts, and he's feeling it now. That's what's getting him intimidated.
A solid right uppercut by Julian Jackson. And And Jackson beginning to answer back after a rugged first round. McClellan said he is not scared going in. Many people often are when they're facing Julian Jackson. He says, my tools are better. I punch as hard as Jackson does. I'm faster and I'm stronger.
He seems to be a little quicker when he wants to be with that jab. His right hand seems to almost be an equal, but his left hook doesn't, except to the body.
McClellan 27-2, 25 knockouts, his 2 defeats early in the career. Decisions to Dennis Milton and Ralph Ward back-to-back in '89. Meanwhile, Julian Jackson 46-1, 43 knockouts, 2-time world champion.
Oh, look out. What a right hand by Julian Jackson. That's that counter that he was measuring him for, and it landed. You can't just flick an idle jab out there and not expect Julian to come over, and he did.
I haven't seen McClellan in a lot of fights where he's gotten hit hard, and I was always wondering just how good is his chin, and right now it doesn't seem to be too bad.
McClellan hanging in there.
Yeah, Bobby, he seems very impressed, however, by the power of Julian Jackson.
Jackson with explosive knockout power, particularly with the right hand and the left hook. We just saw the right, and so did McClellan. That right missed, and a countering left. Also a grazing blow by McClellan. Now lunging rights and uppercuts by Jackson.
I think it's something that McClellan has to do with that left hand. He has to counter because Julian Jackson right now is just keying off McClellan's right hand. And if it's a one-handed fight, it's going to be Jackson all the way.
Unintentional butt. Come on, let's go.
Unintentional butt is what, and Julian's cut. Unintentional butt, and Julian is cut.
Julian Jackson complaining. There's a big left hand by McClellan. And now McClellan looking to measure Jackson off.
Sometimes those butts get you a little bit dizzy. I wonder if that happened to Julian. He just seemed to stop fighting after that butt and got hit by 2 hard punches by
Another big right hand right on the button.
Gerald McClellan landing with the heavy right. Jackson slips as the bell sounds. No knockdown.
interesting round. Julian Jackson was having his way. All of a sudden he gets butted. He quits fighting. He gets hit twice and makes it an even round.
It's too long. Keep firing him now, okay? Keep letting him go. Dig that left hook, boy. Man is getting tired now, but you're letting him get away with too many shots.
Guys in the corner don't know what the hell they're doing.
Come on, man.
Let's take a look at that butt. It's on the bridge of the nose. It's not that bad. Let's take a look at it and see if we can see it well. There it is. Not bad. I don't see if that's a bad butt, Bob.
No, it's really an accidental, but it didn't look like a bad one, but there is a cut from it, so it has to be noted.
And I wonder if it stunned him because he just kind of stopped fighting. It wasn't the same intensity when he came back, and Gerald was able to land 2 or 3 good shots and even up the round. I mean, this is kind of an even fight right now, folks.
There is blood streaking down the bridge of the nose of Julian Jackson, the result of that unintentional headbutt by Gerald McClellan in the 3rd round. We enter round 4.
That cut will never be a factor. At the location it's at, he can bleed all at once. It'll never stop a fight there.
And you know, sometimes blood ignites the killer instinct in a fighter. And McClellan's fighting much better from the time the butt happened to now.
Yeah, he's like he got a new life once he saw that blood coming.
Julian Jackson's lone defeat, 1986, against Mike McClellan for the WBA junior middleweight title, a 2nd round knockout.
See, there's something you'll see. He leaps in with that big hook. McClellan ducks, and that's where the heads clash.
Yep.
One step back, come on, one step back.
Has that been much mauling and brawling here? They've just been punching for 3 rounds. This is the first time any sign of a little bit of a rest coming for both fighters grabbing each other.
McClellan extremely quick on the defense.
Julian just looks bothered. He looks like he's blinking from that eye. Oh, nice body shot, but right at the break.
And Mills Lane admonishing Gerald McClellan.
That doesn't stop it from hurting.
Well, I'll tell you, it takes a certain amount of extra energy, too, to keep moving like McClellan is bouncing. That starts to take its toll on your legs as the fight goes on. Jackson's still walking slow, methodical, conserving energy.
Julian Jackson tried to get his composure here and turn things around in his favor.
Ooh, nice body shot.
Body shot
Jackson.
by Julian Jackson.
Get that glove off of his face. Come on, man. Get the glove off. Come on.
Ooh,
Right on the bridge of the nose, right where the cut is.
right on the button.
McClellan continues to land effectively with the right.
The right hand that Julian Jackson's aiming at the body to could take its toll in 3 or 4 rounds and really debilitate Gerald McClellan.
Julian's doing his homework to the body. No doubt about that. He may be sacrificing a round, but he's really putting in some shots.
Step back. Come on.
McClellan burst into the national spotlight back in '87 by winning the ABF 156-pound title after soundly defeating future Olympian Roy Jones Jr. at the '88 Golden Glove semifinals. He was disappointed, though, he was not chosen to compete on the Olympic team.
Something else I think that you'll see McClellan doing a little bit when they separate. He's bopping around, he's trying to measure Jackson and time him with that right hand on the way in to double the impact of the punch. But it's a dangerous thing to do with Julian Jackson.
Yeah, because you can get met by a punch, and you're on the seat of the pants when that happens. Although I must say, McClellan, ever since the butt, has fought with more confidence, like he figures, hey, I can get into this thing, I can win this thing. Good round for Gerald McClellan.
Your flow to move, dude.
Oh, hit him up. He's bucking. Come on, leave.
Relax. Looking good, baby. Looking good. You got your flow now, okay? Settling, work too hard.
All right. It was a 1-point deduction for the butt.
What, on us?
No.
What he said?
Took a 1 point from him for the butt. Come on, they just got to get a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
Come on.
Don't stand in front of him. You stand in front of him. Don't wait on him.
You're only hitting one.
Come on.
One right hand at the side. You're not getting two. Why did you punch?
Mills Lane just informed us that there's a 1-point deduction for that butt, even if it was unintentional. 1 point off McClellan from back in the 3rd round.
And in a close fight like this, Bobby, that is a big penalty.
I think it's a bad rule, I really do. And you know, it only seems to be that if the butt causes a cut, if they would have just banged heads and he would have swelled his eyes shut, nobody would say a word.
Yeah, but those are the WBC rules that he said, regardless of whose fault it was. I mean, it was Gerald's fault. There was a cut, there was a butt, and but you know, that neutralized the round because McClellan had taken that round, so you take a point away from him and you got an even round. I mean, this is a very even fight.
Wild miss by Gerald McClellan and a left hand, a short crisp left by Julian Jackson that connected.
Again, you'll see him dig that right hand to the body, and McClellan comes back with a left hook of his own.
Jackson being frustrated by 25-year-old Gerald McClellan. Little wink of the eye by McClellan as he eluded a punch. Right now, very difficult to catch is Gerald McClellan. Quite elusive.
Low blow by Julian Jackson. Low.
That was a big, heavy shot down south.
Another one. And McClellan needs a breather.
How much time do you want?
Mills Lane says, as much time as you want.
How much time do you want?
I felt that.
Yeah, and it was 2 in a row. It wasn't just 1. And so now, all of a sudden, no matter how much time to give him,
That was the second time. Next time, you're going to cost you a point, okay?
Mills Lane says that's the second time. 1 more, and we take a point. So a point did not come off, but boy, the effect of 2 good hard body shots, Bobby, you can't come back so soon from that.
You know, many people talk about the cup and the protector, which is what it's actually called, an athletic protector, but the power and the force that you can hit down low there, very sensitive area.
And he, you know, he needs all the strength he can get and all the fluidity and reflex, and that takes your legs out from under you. Ooh, nice shot by Julian.
As he goes upstairs, no chance of south of there.
Julian got a winner right here.
Down goes Jackson. A left hook by Gerald McClellan almost sent him through the ropes.
He is in serious trouble. His legs are not there. This fight could very well be over right this minute.
And there's a minute left to go.
Can McClellan finish him off? He's down again.
He's He's not going to make this, Bobby. He's not going to make this. Julian Jackson doesn't.
It's all over.
It's over.
Mills Lane has stopped the fight. And Gerald McClellan has upset Julian Jackson, and he is the new WBC middleweight champion.
After that first knockdown, you could see he was totally out. He got up just on reflexes, and it was just academic after that. He could not have overcome it in a minute some odd left.
His head was not clear, and his legs were not under him, and that is the sign of when it's just about done.
And Bobby, it was a lightning-like three-blow combination. And just when you thought Julian was starting to turn things around, Bob comes this, what we said before, explosive punches, Bobby. You don't know when it's going to end either way. You really didn't know how this was going to end, but Julian, who has been showing signs of getting hurt in other fights, finally had his night of being the victim.
Well, again, we mentioned that his defense hadn't been what it should be, and that many times because he's such a tremendous knockout puncher that he didn't pay as much attention, and here it cost him dearly.
So Gerald McClellan goes to 28-2 with 26 knockouts. The 25-year-old out of Freeport, Illinois, who trains with the Croc team in Detroit, is the new WBC middleweight champion. Julian Jackson looking to make his 5th title defense with only his 2nd loss in 48 fights.
Well, let's follow the course and demise of Julian Jackson. As the first, let's pick it up from the low blow, and you can see it was a legitimate low blow, and you can see the damage of it. Look at that. I mean, that's way below the lettering, and down goes McClellan saying, I just can't continue. This gives him time to recuperate, but it looked like he was weakened when he got up, maybe giving Julian a lot of energy to think he's going to put it out. Now let's watch what happens.
Well, here you come again. Right. Straight right hand down the pipe, and it was Ferdy, a lead right hand, finishing it off with the left hand, and down is Jackson.
Just what he's been trying to land, the right hand landed just like he wanted it. And here's the second one, and by this time it was academic because Julian was gone. That's it. Right there is the end of that.
Again, his legs weren't under him, and his head wasn't clear, and you're not going to respond.
His eyes just weren't, couldn't focus. He was just gone. Mills Lane did the right thing, stopping the fight. After that first knockdown, it was all over as academic, but I think he caught him by surprise. With the right hand, he'd been trying to land all night long, and he landed and followed up with the left really, really well. So a big surprise, but not quite so surprising because in this middleweight fight, we expected an explosion, and we got an explosion.
So the power and speed of Gerald McClellan doing in Julian Jackson. Jackson, a 2-1 favorite coming in. It was the closest odds of all 3 fights on our boxing triple header. And Gerald McClellan, normally a very business-minded, serious young man, particularly when he met with us and with the press throughout the last couple of days, but with reason to finally let out with a smile.
You get a chance to get it.
So we're ready to get the official word from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time. 2 minutes, 9 seconds in round number 5. The referee in charge, Mills Lane, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout and the new WBC middleweight champion of the world, the G-Man, Gerald McClellan.
God bless you.
All right. So the first of 3 championship fights down. We want to remind you, coming up later, it's the WBC Heavyweight Championship between Lennox Lewis and Tony Tucker. But coming up next, the WBC Super Lightweight Championship featuring Julio Cesar Chavez and Terrence Alou. And we go into the dressing room of undefeated Julio Cesar